I'd like to welcome you all to this IOC hall for, I would say, the 30th.
Come back to this update. So it would actually shock you what Captain Ibrahim Traore, I mean the revolutionary leaders of Burkina Faso, so he is actually encouraging the youth that has any innovative ideas to come up that they are going to support. So guys, I would like you guys to listen to this update. Then when we come back, we will add our own contributions. So take a look.
days. I'd like to welcome you all to this IOC hall for, I would say, the 30th anniversary of FIRSIT in its 15th edition, since it takes place every 2 years. 30 years have passed. That's not just 30 days. I think it's time, in addition to the theme, to take stock and assess the current situation. So I would like to congratulate all the researchers, all the teacher researchers, all the inventors, all the innovators, for all the work that has already been accomplished, despite the difficulties that may be encountered along the way. Once, I asked the minister why people need so much money to do research. He gave me just one example, that just to analyze certain cells, people need to go to Europe. To gain access and pay to use scanning electron microscopes and many other things he mentioned to me. And it was that day too that I realized we do not have certain laboratory equipment. And I made a commitment that in 2026, perhaps in the first quarter, this state-of-the-art next-generation research equipment will be in Burkina Faso. I also made a deliberate point of being here today, right now, to support you, to sincerely express all of my gratitude and heartfelt encouragement for everything you do. We will all double our efforts so that those who want to create, who truly want to invent, can do so. The Faso Amdube page has been created. Many people have started to register, and we are still waiting for more people to continue signing up. Because we are in the process of building a center called Faso Bangre, where all this equipment will be installed, and anyone who thinks they can create something will be able to come find the necessary equipment to develop their invention. Center called Faso Bangre, where all this equipment will be installed, and anyone who thinks they can create something will be able to come find the necessary equipment to develop their invention, or I would say, I would copy the inventions of others. Because, rest assured, no matter how close your friendship is, when you buy something, even if they say they're transferring the technology to you, they never transfer everything. Of course, there is always a manufacturing secret that the person will keep to themselves. But there's nothing to worry about. We must not doubt our own abilities. Certainly, I encourage you and congratulate you, but you really shouldn't remain at this stage. I'm not going to just tell you what you want to hear. I might be somewhat harsh this morning, but the goal is to wake everyone up, especially the youth. Because I'm going to speak frankly, without any sugarcoating or diplomatic language. Of course, Africa is the cradle of humanity, and that's scientifically proven, isn't it? You scientists are the ones who discovered that. That means the first human came from Africa. So why is Africa last today? I think these are the kinds of debates that should be taking place on our TV shows, in our scientific forums, to understand why Africa is last. You've asked yourself that question, I suppose. Something didn't work out. And today, Burkina Faso has decided to make a revolution. The revolution is certainly ideological, political, and behavioral, but it is also, and above all, scientific, technological, industrial, and so on. We shouldn't just stop at the slogan. Because when we talk about revolution, we're talking about endogeneity. And when we say endogenous, it's not just about saying the word. We have to be able to work by ourselves and for ourselves. I believe that God is just. He created all men equal. We have the same organs. It's just that when it comes to the brain, I think scientifically, most of us don't even use 10% of our brain's potential. And it's by working that we manage to tap into the potential of the brain. But let's admit that we are quite lazy. We don't work. Of course, at some point, even in Burkina, concepts were introduced to tell us that a person shouldn't work more than 6 or 8 hours a day. And we adopted that. And we fight for that. We're not getting anywhere with that. How can we assert our entitlement to these kinds of rights, if I can call them that, and still hope to catch up on the delays we're experiencing? Today, we have companies working day and night. Work that used to take 3 years is now done in less than a year. Anyway, my beautiful projects, day and night, for work sites that were supposed to take maybe 10 months, they're doing them in a month. It's quite possible. You know, they came to flatter us, to lull us with lots of concepts. You've asked yourself that question, I suppose. We need to get rid of that. That's also what revolution means. If we want to catch up, we have to get back to work. Africa cannot be the cradle of humanity. God did not create us to be stupid. He gave us all brains just like them. But we refuse to make use of the potential of our minds. Of course, those who stand out with an intellectual coefficient above average, I would say, manage to succeed, but very often they are caught. For others, and due to a lack of patriotism for some, they agree to leave. For others, the environment was also not suitable for them to express themselves here. They left. We urge those who want to return to come back and work here for their homeland, for their brothers. I have a bone to pick with the youth. We need to wake up. I say it and I want to keep saying it. Don't think that drinking with friends, dancing to music, singing your favorite songs, partying late into the night are the only ways to have fun. Can help us reach a certain level. With this kind of behavior, we can only remain slaves, just consuming and consuming what they produce, but above all, giving away our wealth, our resources at a low price. Because we have no choice, we don't know how to do anything else. I came here to encourage research, to encourage innovation, to encourage technology. We need to be able to create. Let's take an example. We are in this room. Here are fans spinning everywhere. What is stopping young Burkinabés from creating fans, from setting up a structure to produce these fans? At the very least, we can copy them. Here is the air conditioner. What is stopping us from making it? Do you think they are smarter than us? The reality is right there. How did our ancestors historically recognize exactly what a ferrolytic soil was in our land? How did they manage to exploit this soil, extract iron, and make their tools? Answer me. So they were smarter than us. So what is making us more and more foolish? We need to ask ourselves the question and use the right words. Since they did it, how did our ancestors extract gold, identify the land where there was gold, extract it and become truly wealthy? The richest man was in Africa, here in West Africa, I believe in Mali. How is it that today, just a few decades ago, all our gold deposits were handed over to others so they could come and exploit them and do as they please? Our ancestors were smarter than us, and we are dumber than they were. How did we become dumber? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's the right word. We say that we are revolutionaries. A revolutionary tells the truth. It might hurt, but it has to be said. So I want us to wake up. We cannot continue down this path and hope to prosper. It's impossible. Every period, every month, or often every quarter, I like to ask the Minister of Commerce to send me an update on our imports. I look at the volume and the amounts we send abroad to export products. It often pains me. I often just sit down and do a simple calculation. Do you want economic sovereignty? Do a simple calc, who each spend 10,000 CFA francs per month and per year on clothing, that is, if we import that, it amounts to 200 billion francs. But on average, each of you spends 10,000 francs per year on clothing just by buying shoes or something else that's imported. Have we really become so foolish that we can't sit down, think, and see everything that is brought to us from outside and realize that we could create it here? I don't believe that. Not just clothing, but in many other sectors as well. There are many other sectors. The numbers are there. You might be able to see in some statistics what matters to us and what we can even manufacture right here at home. Last time I asked those from the Presidential Initiative for Quality Education, I don't know if they're here, to send me an update on the equipment for the lecture halls and those we are currently building. What do they plan to do? How do they plan to equip them? They sent it to me and I took the time to read it over the weekend. So I saw how many billions in contracts would need to be awarded for the equipment. You see, in your lecture halls, the students are there. In the lecture halls, your desks and everything, in the offices and everything that goes with it. There are a lot of lecture halls under construction, so that's a lot of equipment. And so I saw the standards they set and all that. All this furniture is supposed to be ordered from abroad. So I told them, here's what's going to happen. Either we make this ourselves right here using our own carpenters and welders here, or you go out into the bush, find all the dead wood, carefully cut some sturdy stools, and then bring them to the universities. When the students sit on those stools, if it hurts them, it's certain that among them, some will have the intelligence to create the bench we're making. Or we can actually find skilled carpenters and experienced welders from here right now who will be able to make the exact kind of folding bench that we want. But I think it's already underway, isn't it? The 10 capes? There are some. That means the resources are there. But why should billions be spent outside when people here can do the work themselves? You are capable of doing things. And besides, whether it's a minister, a director, or the president of an institution, there are more. Since last year, I was telling people when I was making decisions, those who had broken offices or whatever, I told them to use stones to prop things up until they don't fall. If it falls, made here, no one will import luxury furniture to Burkina for their offices. We will make it here. So those who have a project in 2026 to include in their budget the importation of furniture, to have offices, very beautiful, and I don't know how, forget about it, it won't happen. We will make it here until it looks as good as we want. Because no one will be living in luxury until we reach a certain level. If you want your luxury, you have to manage it yourself and use your salary to create it. The rest we will focus on work. And everyone needs to wake up. We have a lot of fun. Having fun is good, but we have to work first. But it's a policy to lull the continent to sleep. I'll take an event that happened. I have nothing against the organizers, nothing in particular. Miss University 2025. I think she won a lot of prizes. Maybe she's in the room here, I don't know. But at the very least, she got the check for 3 million plus all expenses paid, and all expenses paid trip to France by Campus France. Does that ring a bell? Does Campus France fund your event here? Okay. What are these companies that support you in everything? I'll get to that point later. From now on, companies will contribute to research. We don't have a choice. To innovation. And when we talk about innovation, invention, it's not necessarily those who went to school. There are some who didn't go to school who are doing very well, who managed to invent things. That's why these centers are being set up, to identify them, give them some science, some scientific knowledge as well, and enable them to set up and manufacture what we want. We can't keep going down this path. And for those who import furniture, as I just said, I invite you to find good carpenters here, form good groups, and start funding them to produce the quality you want. You can't import and rely on government and institutional markets. If I take someone who goes to secure a contract, it's at their own risk. We need to work. We need to work. Please, I urge you. More than 100 years ago, in the early days of technology, others developed and constructed engines. What have we done in Burkina? More than 100 years ago, they learned how to detect oil, to extract it, to refine it, to create gasoline, diesel, and everything else. What are we doing in Burkina? More than 100 years ago, they created their own gunpowder, explosives. They manufacture ammunition and weapons. What are we doing? More than 80 years ago, they mastered the atom. They made the nuclear bomb and today nuclear energy. What are we doing? Are they smarter than us? I was saying, do you think so? If you don't believe in yourself, you really need to question yourself. Try to reprogram your own mind again so you can believe in yourself. Because we can too. That's what I'm waiting for. By the way, we are at war. It's true that your focus is more on health, industry, and so on, which is very good. As for defense matters, we'll handle that privately because at the presidential level, we do have a department that deals with this issue. I want people to be able to come and tell me that they can produce an engine. We will support them. I want people to be able to come and tell me that they can make the powder for our ammunition. We will support them. I want people to be able to come and tell me that they can make trinitrotoluene, TNT, the basic explosive in shells, even though there are more powerful explosives than that. We will support them. That's what we need. We can't go on like this. 100 years later, we still can't make a part for an airplane. Maybe we can't even make the hub of a bicycle. Do you think that's serious? And then you'll hear people debating, no, we can't do everything, we can't do this, we can't do that. And they've been trained to talk like that. And they no longer believe in Africa. No, we need to stop talking. We need to work. And actually, when we work, also take time to relax. That's the best way. But we can't go on like this. You have TV channels where it's all about dancing. It's all distraction, comedy, that's it. Don't be surprised if tomorrow you wake up, turn on your TV, and some channels are no longer broadcasting. Because we're going to do it. We're going to make people work. We are also capable of doing things. We can't have been making pottery for millennia. And today, everything in your bathroom, the porcelain and so on, even your plates, we can't import them. Let's get serious. We need to change our mindset. And it's possible. Believe in yourselves. That's the first factor. Believing in yourself, believing that you are capable of doing it. And when you fail while trying, it's not the end of the world. You have to start again. You have to persevere. If today you take a phone, take it apart to try to make it yourself, and if it breaks, it's not a big deal. You just have to try again tomorrow. Take your own motorcycle, take it completely apart and try to put it back together to understand how it works. If there are some parts left over, it's not a problem. You just have to try something else. That's good. That it happens like this, it's nothing, but seriously, I really like seeing this in young people. To reconsider a lot of things. And as I said last time, when I met the students during Excellence Day, stop doing useless things on your social networks and digital platforms. There are pages, there are channels where you can learn science, where you can learn how to do things. I was saying you'll find Indians, Pakistanis, people from certain countries, in any case, who manage to make basic tools and post them on social networks, take an interest in that and try to reproduce it here. Instead of going to watch dances or even dancing yourself like a fool for reasons no one understands. But that's not it. But others encourage you in that direction. But look at some embassies here. They only fund that. Go to their embassies with a scientific or technological project or an invention you want to develop. That doesn't interest them. If you agree, they'll take you to their country. You go do it over there. But if it's to do it here, they'll never fund you. But if you come with an entertainment project, they'll help you, they'll fund you. And afterwards, they'll come out and say it's to promote Burkinabe culture. Guys, we don't want that. We want technology first. Culture, that's ours. We'll fund our own culture and we'll find every way to do it. So we're not asking anyone to come and fund Burkinabe culture. That's intrinsic to us, it's fundamental, we'll do it ourselves. We're not even asking anyone for help to do that. So try it out, go to their embassies, present your inventions to them So try it for yourself. Go to their embassies, present your inventions to have them made here. They will never help you, and they won't tell you. So I urge the youth to wake up. Scientists, researchers, make yourselves available so you can provide support. Those who haven't gone to school, someone can create something. But they don't know the chemical composition. But it's up to you, researchers, when we send them to you, to be able to take their invention and say, okay, it's made up of this, 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 and this component, and then help them improve according to your needs. This is the kind of symbiosis I want to see through this type of forum. This is what can help us. I see that the lady from Adipro, I don't know if she's the patron of the forum, but I was at the opening of the factory. When I was walking through the factory, I asked her a question. So there are foreigners here to operate the machines. We want to industrialize, but for all of this, we have to import. There are things you see in certain industrial units that you just can't understand. Just a conveyor belt with an electric motor that turns, but it has to be imported. We shouldn't be afraid of God, us to do, sorry, and watch, and then copy, and then do it ourselves. We go and pay for a long conveyor belt with an electric motor at the end that turns and moves things along, but we go pay over there, we can't manufacture here. It's actually a sickness. And everyone needs to talk to each other so we can heal. There's a lot to be done. As for me, your operating budgets, this year again, I'm going to cut them. To help young people who invent and all that so they can manufacture things locally. So get ready again, you're going to come, I'm going to cut. Your institutions, your what? I'm going to cut your operating budgets again. Because there's no point in holding workshops or whatever, and then we import everything you even use in the workshop. Here we are, talking into imported microphones. That's the truth. We can't go on like this. All the chairs you're sitting on, maybe they're imported, they're not even made here. So let's change. And it's possible. And maybe to finish, this is also to call out to those who invent and who are searching. Don't try, right from your first invention or first research, to become a multimillionaire and a big boss. A lot of people make this mistake. When they create something, well, with the first government contract, the prices are set at a certain level, and we can't even... Because he wants, with the very first order, to go buy the latest iPhone, the latest Samsung, the latest Huawei. He has 5 phones in his hand, walking around thinking he's become a big boss. No, it happens little by little. You can't compete with imported goods. So please take it slow, take it easy. It's also about the state itself providing the resources, and it's the state that funds everything. You can't take the state's resources, try to create something, and then make it your private property. It's first and foremost for the state. Now, there can be an agreement between you and the state so that industry can take this and produce it on a large scale. So, industrialists absolutely must support research and innovation because they are the ones who will benefit from it. So we have no choice but to put something in place so that you contribute in one way or another. You sponsor a lot of entertainment events, so you can also sponsor young people who are going to invent things. So get ready, that's how it's going to be done. And remember one thing to finish. We need everyone's brain power, and everyone is capable of creating something. It's definitely possible. So all those who have full and well-filled minds, we need you. But we still need someone with a head full of knowledge and a heart full of patriotism. But we don't want someone with a brain full of knowledge and a heart empty of patriotism, because it would just be self-interest. They don't see the interest of the homeland. Be patriotic, researchers. You can revolutionize. I trust you and I know you can. You have already worked miracles. There are some who have created things. That is to say, all over the world, people have been researching for millennia. They never found the solution. But in Burkina, we found the solution. There are some in Burkina. Maybe it hasn't been popularized enough. Maybe we need to look at these things to popularize them properly. So you are capable of creating, believe in yourselves, all of you who think you have sharp minds and hearts full of patriotism. We are waiting for you so that we can move forward together to create, to innovate, and truly be the heart of West Africa and become a power, just as our father of the revolution dreamed for Burkina Faso. It is truly possible. It is truly possible for us to make use of our resources and live comfortably. You go to Dubai or wherever and you are very happy. China used to be behind, lagging by 50 years. They were very far behind, but today it has surpassed everyone. It's thanks to hard work. Let's work first and then we can have fun. But we shouldn't put entertainment first, so I am counting on each and every one of you. I wish you a very good forum and some excellent discussions. And I asked about the prizes that are awarded. I took the example of Miss Burkina today. The first prize is 5 million, right? The second prize is 3 million, and the other prize is 2 million. Well, we are going to change that starting today. And I hope there are some good inventions this time. If there are, we will multiply all the prizes by 5. And we will absolutely make sure of that. So the competition is open. And if it takes holding the first sites every year to get people to create and invent more, we will be ready to take responsibility and invest whatever needs to be invested in it. So take that as a given, you can already count on it. Thank you very much, everyone. I wish you a very successful forum, and I look forward to hearing the results and the positive ideas that will come out of this forum. May God bless you all. May God protect our beloved homeland, homeland or death.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it all. It is very plumb and clear that Burkina Faso is seeking for innovator in Burkina Faso. And the government say it within himself that is ready to sponsor anyone, that they should stop exporting. So guys, that is why I was always actually say something. What do you think that Burkina Faso will become in the next 10 years if they keep on this way and maintain the standard of discipline? And what Captain Ibrahim Traore is saying, that very soon they will wake up one morning, what they used to watch in television will be switched off, so that people of the youth of Burkina Faso and the people of Burkina Faso can concentrate. That how come that our ancestors that did not even have all the technology we have today come to be able to discover a lot of stuff? So guys, what do you think will become Burkina Faso in the next 10 years? I think Burkina Faso will become the next China in Africa if they keep to this standard, and if people take this advice and instruction for the Putin to work. So I think Burkina Faso will become the next China in Africa. So guys, what do you think? Do well to drop your comment.